Oh, good, good, good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Elizabeth A. Corshu. I am the founder and CEO of Nurse Exec Innovations, a resilience, leadership coaching, and global health consulting firm, as well as a new authoress of the book titled Beyond the Vision, as well as a curator of the platform titled Pass the Mic. Some of you are probably saying, what is Pass the Mic? Who is Pass the Mic? Pass the Mic is a platform established for visionaries, game changers, advocates looking to execute their global footprints in today's society in the areas of healthcare, business, technology, education, culture, fashion, and so much more. Today is March 21st. The time is now 6:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we have a wonderful guest that is actually hailing from the West Coast. She's originally from the East Coast, but I am going to bring our wonderful guest for this Empower Her Women's History Month, Her Story Month for March 2024. It is no other than the influencer, the nurse administrator extraordinaire. Her name is Alana Cueto, and I bring her on. I hope I did not distort her name, but she'll correct me, I'm pretty sure. So I bring on Miss Alana. How are you?
I'm
Welcome,
doing
welcome, welcome.
well. Thank you, Elizabeth, for inviting me here today to share my story with you and all of the viewers. It's such a pleasure to be on Empower Her series. I recall several years ago, I participated in Pass the Mic. And so it's a pleasure to be back here and having been invited. So thank you for this wonderful gesture. I feel graced. Yeah.
Anytime. So tell us about Alana. What does it mean to Alana to be a woman, a Puerto Rican woman, a woman, just a woman? What does it mean? Can you share with us what Alana is to the world?
Thank you so much for mentioning that I am a Boricua, Puerto Rican woman, and I say that because it is truly who I am. It's a fabric of my core. Having been born and raised in New York City, of parents that came from Puerto Rico, and having my maternal grandmother having lived with us, you know, for most of my life. She passed when I was 15. And it was through my connection with my grandmother that I learned to speak Spanish fluently, read it and write it. But also, it was through my maternal grandmother that I was introduced into healthcare. Because back in the day, my grandmother, who did not have formal education, would invite me to accompany her to all of her medical visits, and I would serve as interpreter and translator for her. And today we have interpreter services in the various hospitals and ambulatory care centers and so forth. But we're talking back maybe 40, 30, 35, 40 years ago. They were non-existent. And so it was through this connection with my grandmother that I was introduced into healthcare, knew at a very early age that I enjoyed the smell of hospital and that I wanted to someday work in a hospital. And it was what brought me into the profession of nursing. Yeah. And so for me, being a
Wow.
woman, a Latina woman, a woman of color, with still having a lot of family back in Puerto Rico, it's important to give back. It's important to serve. And what that may look like for me is boots on the ground, right? It's community advocacy, community education, being bilingual. I'm able to uh, speak the language and understand the traditions, the culture, and what that means to the various Latino communities. And to be able to extend myself in that way, that's all a part of the fabric of who I am.
Mm, okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. So are you like a sister, a daughter, a niece?
I'm
What
actually
any
number
other
five.
roles that you
I am. I
extend? I
am.
heard you say granddaughter.
Yes, I am number five of seven children. And it was boy, girl. And they were
Mm.
expecting a boy when they came to me. And surprise, surprise, I was a girl. And so it's interesting. A lot of people ask, well, where did you get the name Alana? It's an unusual name, or I've never heard that name. And I know growing up in school, I was the only Alana. And so it was because they expected a boy, and so they had a name for a boy. And last minute, when it was a girl, my dad chose the name of a character of a book he was reading at the time, and the character's name, the protagonist in the book, her name was Alana, and that's how the name came to be. But I have six siblings. I have many, many, many nieces and nephews. We're scattered throughout the US, everywhere from New York to New Jersey to Florida. I also have a sister that lives in Puerto Rico, and so we're scattered. And I have two children, and I would say that that's probably the greatest achievement as a Latina woman is being the mother to my children. I have a son and a daughter. So, yeah, and to know that they're good human beings, who give back to society.
Wonderful,
Um,
wonderful. Thank you for
yeah, to
yeah,
me, that's the greatest achievement, right? As a parent, to be a parent and know that you're raising two good kids.
as a woman.
Hmm.
Yes, yes, yes. Congratulations. And I know they're very proud of you. And
Thank
just
you.
to kind of lean into the questions, because I'm a respecter of time, and
Absolutely.
you're right now the sun is starting to set here, but I'm pretty
Yes,
sure the
yes.
sun is bright and shining over on the West Coast. So, the question I have for you is in regards to empowering Alana. How do you empower yourself first, and then how do you empower other women in your respective communities? Well, you're a
Yeah.
traveler. Like I
Yes.
just said to you, are you in Jersey? No, I'm over on the West Coast. Are you in Puerto Rico? No, I'm over. So, how do you get to empower many different people, different communities? So, how do you empower yourself, pour into your cup first, and then
Yeah.
empower others, other women?
Yeah, there are several ways that I would say that I empower myself. First and foremost, through faith, right? Faith in God, and just having gratitude. Like my feet don't touch the ground when I get up in the morning until I sit up and give thanks for my blessings. And then I could go about the remainder of my day or
Mm-hmm.
get my day started. So first through faith, second through family and that connection through family. But third is through just self-care, you know, healthy eating, exercise, walking, feeding of the mind, right? Through education, reading, I'm back in school. I'm working on my doctorate again. I had put it down for a little
Yes.
bit, but now I'm back on it. So it's just through feeding the mind, the body, the spirit, and it's that interconnection. And then there's that interconnection with individuals in the community. And I love the fact that I do travel, and that my work affords me the opportunity to travel because it helps to expand not only my personal but also my professional networks. And so to me, that's part of, feeding who I
Mm,
am and helping me to grow and expand my thoughts, my perceptions. And so I would say that it's a combination of all those things. And then it's giving back, right? It's
great, great, great. Yeah. Mhm.
whether it's novice nurses and mentoring novice nurses, or individuals who have been in the field for many years that need that little extra support because sometimes other people see something in them that they don't see in themselves. And I've been there myself. And it's giving them that extra push, that nudge to
Yes.
say, hey, I
Yes.
think that you'd be great on this board. Can I recommend you or give your name, or can I write that letter of support on your behalf? Is that something that you've considered?
Mm,
Because I could see that in you, and it's giving back in that way, to help bring diverse voices
yes.
and diverse thoughts and ideas to various tables,
Mhm.
whether it's locally, regionally, nationally, or globally. So, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. So on a regular day, what does Alana's day start in regards to God and faith? Is that an integral part of your day, daily routine, or is that not the case?
It's a daily part of my day because it's embedded in who I am, and it's a part of my life. Um, as a young girl, I was raised in a very Roman Catholic household, and I went to Catholic school most of my life until undergrad, undergrad at NYU, and then for my master's, I went to Seton Hall, right, which is a Jesuit university, and so I had it embedded in the early part of my upbringing. But then it goes beyond that. It's through life experiences and what we experience and what we share that helps to evolve, right, our belief. And for me, it's become more of spiritual within, right? And so, as I mentioned earlier, when I get up in the
Mm,
mornings, I
mhm,
sit
mhm.
up and my feet do not touch that floor until I give grace, until I give gratitude for all of my blessings. And that's embedded truly and weaved into the fabric of my core. And so, and I try to give that back, right? Through love, through advocacy, through empowering others, through mentorship, through working in community. I try to give that back in any which way, shape, form I possibly can, even through my daily work. I'm very passionate about the profession of nursing, and I try to give the best of myself in all that I do. And I often say, when I'm wrapping up an assignment, because I work as an interim, as a contract nurse throughout the country. And so when I'm wrapping up an assignment, I'm like, okay, I've contributed my grain of sand, and hopefully it's sustainable. And I could come back 3, 4, 5 years from now, and the work, the seed that I planted is being watered by others, and you can see it bloom. And I'm grateful for that opportunity.
Yes. Awesome, awesome. As you were speaking and I was listening, I said, wow, you're like a real live Tinkerbell spreading your fairy dust, your power dust, your love dust around the different around the globe as
I
you're
love
moving
that.
about. But that's wonderful. So in regards, this now leans yes, yeah, thank you. This now leans into the next question, which talks about your talents, gifts, and characteristic traits. I mean, was there anything that you knew from like a little girl? I know you mentioned that you love, not too many people say that they love the smell of a hospital, but
I love
did you
it.
know at a young age?
Yeah,
Did you
I
know at a
did.
young age that, or maybe somebody told you about, you did. So did you know about the talents and gifts that, or did that get cultivated as you got older? What talents and gifts do you feel that are God given just specifically for Alana? Because not everybody, there's only one you. Nobody else can be you. So what do you think is your superpower that makes you super special?
I would say that many of the powers, as you mentioned, are cultivated, right, as you go along. And many times, even as a young girl, you don't even realize that you have a superpower. But, I mentioned my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, and I could think back, not only was I interpreting and translating for her, during her medical appointments when I was a young girl, but I remember advocating at a very young age on her behalf. And that soon spread to not just advocating on her behalf, but advocating for the neighbors because she would share with the neighbors, oh, my grandma, my granddaughter Alana, blah, blah, blah. And soon I was advocating for them and, supporting them on various, issues or concerns that they had.
How old were
And
you?
oh, I could recall back as early as the age of 10, um, reading letters that would come in English that they would get from either, school or various local agencies, and then translating that letter for them, and then helping support them either at an appointment because the letter was calling them to an appointment, or responding, writing a letter on their behalf, in response. And this went on all of my young, like I would
Wow.
say it started as early as 9, 10, and then it just expanded and grew as I got older and matured. By the age of
Wow.
13, I was, going to them to face-to-face hearings in New York City and serving as their interpreters. Um, yeah, and so I
Wow.
would say, yeah, I would say that
Wow.
the profession of nursing truly chose me. And I think that one of the reasons that I've been successful, aside from the fact that I'm passionate and I love the profession of nursing, but I think because of the experiences that I had at such a young age. I was an advocate before I became a nurse. And I served as an advocate at a very young age. And I would say it's that superpower that has helped me in serving as the voice of many communities that are vulnerable and marginalized, communities that can't relay or
Mhm.
convey the message
Marginalized.
because they don't speak the language or can't, the
Mhm.
language barriers, right? Or their literacy, right?
Mhm.
Because, medicine is a whole nother
Mhm.
language in itself. And so, it's those barriers and those challenges that
Mm.
these vulnerable communities face where I feel I empathize, and I'm here to support you because I truly, fully, wholeheartedly understand what you are going through
Mhm.
because I experienced it with my own grandmother and members of our community at a very young age. So, yeah. So I would say it's advocacy is probably
Mm,
my
mhm,
greatest
mhm, mhm.
superpower. And
So
then,
true. Wow.
as I grow older, as I evolve, as I, become educated, it's combining advocacy with nursing. It's combining advocacy with community outreach. It's combining that advocacy in basically all that I do. You know, because it's speaking up for others, it's speaking up for myself, it's speaking up and standing firm,
Yes.
right, when you know that things are not being done correctly, when we're not supporting those that we should be supporting, and so it's being that voice. I've
Mm-hmm.
served on national boards where I recall even
Being
saying,
that voice. Well, I hope you
yeah,
come back over.
yeah.
I hope you come back to the East Coast when it's time to vote.
Actually, I'm still a registered voter out there, and if you look
Yes.
at my social media page, I'm I'm not going to get into
Okay.
politics right now, but I will tell you that I'm supporting a very dear friend who's running for senator in New Jersey, and she is the first Latina female that is running in that role. And she truly is the voice of the
Okay.
communities, those marginalized communities. So it's worth looking into. And even from the West Coast, I support her. I've gone to various fundraising, advocacy events on her, to support her out here on the West Coast. And you can bet your bottom dollar I'll be back on the East Coast to vote when the time comes. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, good, good, good. Well, keep me posted. Invite me. Hopefully, if I'm available, I'll come and join you. But finally, thank you so much. That is such a
Thank
amazing
you.
response, and it's really filled with solid gems and takeaway. So the last final question is that as you know, because you're in the same profession as I am as a nurse, we have survived this global pandemic.
Yeah.
There were times it was rough. It was very
Hmm.
difficult, to say the least. Um, we never saw anything like this ever in our lifetime. And there's still residual left of I call it the aftermath of the pandemic,
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
mental health struggles, the food insecurities with some
Hmm.
populations, economical challenges because people either lost their jobs or had to pivot. But today's focus is empowering her, and we're talking about empowering yourself.
Hmm.
What does Alana do differently since the global pandemic, and what does Alana value about her life since this global
Hmm.
pandemic has passed?
Thank you for that question. When the pandemic first struck us in early 2020, I immediately, when the governor of New York called for volunteers, I immediately put my name on the list because I've always maintained a New York State nursing license. I had the opportunity to serve during that time in New York City for the first 6 months, and so it was a very hard time, both physically and mentally, to be in that in that as things were unfolding and there was such level of uncertainty. Um what what I learned as a result of the pandemic is truly that there's a world outside of our circle, right? We truly are a global community. And so I would say that, in the past, I've always extended myself to local communities, but as a result of the pandemic, I now extend myself beyond, right, the local communities. I now extend myself globally, right? Because I've learned, and there's this philosophy that Archbishop Desmond Tutu and Nelson Mandela subscribed to, and it's the philosophy of Ubuntu, right? It is human connection. I am because you are. You are because I am. And we together, right, can support each
Mhm.
other to elevate each other, and to ensure our well-being. And so I don't take anything for granted. My children, my family, my immediate friends, I don't take anything for granted. And that comes with age too, right? And experience. I'm now at an age where I feel I've lived more years than that I
Mhm.
have ahead of me. And so I make it my mission to not only elevate others and to reach out locally, but now I go boots on the ground globally. I've since been to Africa. I visited several countries in Africa, Cameroon, Benin, Nigeria. Later in April, I'm going to Cuba on an educational medical mission, and I'm hoping to end the year in Nepal and India. And it's my way of giving back, right? Because of my love for the profession of nursing, but also my desire to help and be a part of humanity, right? To extend myself on a global scale and to not only contribute my grain of sand, my little grain of sand here locally,
Mhm.
but, internationally, globally, in through best practices of nursing, through education, through advocacy,
Mhm.
in any which way that I can support other communities that are less fortunate, right, than the one that I'm currently living and working in, then I will do so. And I will do so with love and with grace and happy and feeling blessed to be there and be part of that community.
If anyone wants to get in contact with Alana for whatever reason, they're impressed with everything that you have shared with us on this wonderful Empower series, how can they best get in contact with you?
Probably through email, and that email is acsqr@yahoo.com. And ACSQR, a lot of people look at it and go, huh, what? It stands for AC square, because I'm a little bit of a geek or nerd. So the mathematical equation, AC square, so it's ACSQR@yahoo.com. And I'm happy to serve, and support anyone that I can. So they're happy, I welcome any opportunity to connect with others if they want to reach out.
Awesome, awesome. So I like to close out each series with a quote, a woman's quote for Women's her Story Month, not history, her story month.
Mhm.
So this quote is by Meghan Markle.
Okay.
It says, "Women don't need to find a voice, and they need to feel empowered to use it, and people need to be encouraged to listen." So thank you so much. I'm going to end this all your
Thank you.
wonderful words of wisdom and sharing with transparency and all the authenticity as you always do. And
Thank you.
thank you so much. Have a great evening. Enjoy that sunset over on the west because the sun is definitely going down here.
Yeah.
And God bless. Take care.
God bless. Take care. Good being with you.